Well, here we are again, ladies and gentlemen, at Talking Tigers here, your below average analysis site. So let's take a look at how we did. All right, so we started projecting these prior to week 9. Then we reviewed last week and projected prior to week 10. So let's go over that here. So here was our projections week 9. Don't want to spend too much time on this. You can pause it and see for yourself. There was the projected bracket prior to week 9. These were our big misses and second level misses last week. 19-7 on the games we predicted, 26 games. There were our average projections heading into week 10. This was our bracket prior to week 10, what we thought it might look like. And then let's start here. So this was our big misses on the first level this past week. Westerville Central, kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team. They have wins over Pickering and North and New Albany now. So that was a big one. That bumped Westerville Central up about 3 places. So we had them projected, I believe, at like 13, ended up at 10. And then Olentangy Berlin beating Thomas Worthington. We told you that if Thomas Worthington lost, they could drop significantly. So we had them in the 4 spot. They dropped all the way to 8th with that loss to Berlin. On the second level, Mason defeating Princeton. So Mason tripped us up both weeks, winning last week and then winning again this week. Pine Richland defeating Woodland Hills. That helped North. Canal Winchester defeating Big Walnut. That was a big upset to me. Northland over Beechcroft. Congratulations to Coach Sayers up there at Northland. Orange defeating Liberty. That was on Pick Central's card. Columbus South defeating Marion Brooklyn. And Marion Harding getting their first win of the season, defeating Marion Pleasant. So those were our second level losses. All right, here's a look at Pick Central's card. Obviously, we had predicted Liberty to beat Orange, so that takes away that 6.5. Everything else kind of held true for them. So instead of 178.5 on the second level, they bumped down to 172. Ended up with a total of 21.75. Didn't really matter. Max win out for them would have been 23.05. Still would have stayed in the 4th place regardless. One thing that did happen, because we had predicted them in the 5 spot, moving up to the 4 spot guarantees them 2 home playoff games. The only thing with, if they could have possibly moved up to 3, which there was no possibility that they could do that, but you avoid Gahanna until the regional finals. But nonetheless, Pick Central gets that coveted 4 spot, guaranteeing them 2 games in the pit, or not in the pit, in the ditch. So last week we told you the possibilities, teams they play. Central Crossing was the high percentage team. It stayed true week 9, 10, and that is the team they're going to play. We said that they could move as high as 4, which they did, or as low as 7, but they ended up in that 4 spot. All right, ultimately, here's a look at, looks like a golf scorecard. We got, so week prior to week 9, and comparing that to the final result, we were at a minus 24. So the teams that really hurt us from that week 9 projection were Thomas Worthington. We were projecting them at 4. They ended up at 8. Also, Pick North, we initially projected at 2, ended up at 5. And then Westerville Central with that late surge went from 13 to 10. And then Upper Arlington, that win over Kaufman was huge for them. We projected them at 7. They ended up at 2. But if you look at where we were prior to week 10, compared to the final results, really the only Thomas Worthington again, that loss to Berlin dropped them from 4 to 8. And then if you go down here, again, Westerville Central, we didn't have them winning over New Albany. They got a nice win, bumped them up 3 spots, so that was a -3 for us there. But other than that, you can see anywhere it was even. Those were ones that we picked right on. So we went from -24 to -16, so closer to 0 by 8 spots. So that was pretty good in our favor there. Overall, we got 6. Prior to week 9, we had 6 of the 16 on the right line. Prior to week 10, same thing, 6 of the 16 on the right line. These were a little bit more difficult, 4 out of 16. So prior to week 9, we had more correct matchups than we did prior to week 10, which ended up being 2 out of 16. So overall, I was kind of more focused on this, the difference. Went from -24 to -16. Obviously, you want to be closer to even, just like in golf. So we improved by 8 spots from our projections from prior to week 9 to week 10. And then here's a look at the final bracket. Thinking about doing some projections this week, if anybody would care to see that. So this is what the final bracket looks like. There's your Pick Central Tigers. You can quickly see with 2 wins, or with a win in the first round, this possible matchup with these guys here. So it'll be interesting to see if that game still holds true on Central's home field, because Central plays Central Crossing in the first round, and then Central with the possibility of North again in the second round. And it was a wild affair with the tickets in their week 4 matchup, so we'll see if they do a better job handling that if this playoff game comes to fruition. But that's what we're looking at, and I appreciate everybody that watched or commented. This was kind of fun, so again, I appreciate anybody that watched the video or reached out. These things were pretty cool, a lot of fun, especially for a math guy. So maybe have some picks later this week, so stay tuned.